Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, reporting from the new Overflow room. As you can see, it's still kind of empty, but over the next few weeks and months, after extensive renovations to my new house, we will be filling it up, and I really hope we have enough space. I'm just doing this because so many of you ask me about storage and shelving and stuff, so I thought I would just sort of give you a little preview. I've actually started sort of getting it warmed up. As you can see there are some things that I've taken out of boxes, and the room itself, its exact size, I don't know, but these are all double depth shelves, all of them. I can put in 2 layers of CDs. Here, let me show you how that works. So you see, if I take these out here, and if you look in there, you can see there's like more behind them. You see that? That is the joy of double depth shelving. It's really very sensible because CDs are like 4 inches, long, in a jewel box. And of course, if you're streaming, you can simply put it all on your hard drive and forget about all of this nonsense. But this is the place, and I'll be reporting here from the nerve center of my YouTube channel as I start to get it filled up. I'll also probably put some gym equipment and other stuff in there and maybe set up the gongs as well. I mean, there's lots of space here. There's a whole nother room over there that I also, sort of renovated for books and shelving of other types, and I can also put more CDs in there. So I have space. Oh God, the joy of space. When I moved, it was really very funny. I mean, aside from the overflow room, which, as some of you may already know, is in a barn somewhere in another property, but I moved here from a 1-bedroom, 800 square foot apartment in Brooklyn, and the movers came and they said, we'll get it all packed up in a day. I said, you're not going to get it packed up in a day. It just ain't going to happen, And it didn't. It took them 2 days. They could not believe so much crap had been stuffed into a 1-bedroom apartment. And the fact of the matter is, I don't have room for it in this house either. I mean, a lot of it's still in boxes. I mean, you know what moves are like. They box things up and you never open the boxes. So we still have to do like another half of the unpacking. But we were waiting for this, for the renovations, because we have this and we have the storage on the other side. And then we have a completely finished attic too, which is marvelous, but I don't know what we're going to do with it yet. And so, we have the room, but everything that was jammed in that apartment, if you were to spread it out, you could fill up Versailles. It was really kind of a miracle of packing and cramming. So here we are in the overflow room, and I'm actually wanted to talk to you about Ripe for Reissue. Remember that series? Because, the stuff upstairs that I've put into shelves, which you've seen, where I currently work from my little office, I mean, that's not alphabetized yet either. I just took it out of boxes and threw it in there. It started alphabetized. It didn't arrive alphabetized. So some chunks have preserved their alphabetical things. I mean, it sort of happens in groups that are, I can find stuff, let's put it that way. But it's not in exact order. That may take another 20 or 30 years. And the overflow room is alphabetized, and I am determined that it remain that way, come hell or high water. But, so I'm looking up there through the shelves, and I've done, as you know, random reviews. We may do some more of those. And I saw these 2 boxes just sitting there, and I like to see what's happening, with the industry. And how things are being preserved. These are the Munch, Romantic Masterworks and Late Romantic Masterpieces, 7 and 6 CD sets respectively, 7 and 8 CD sets respectively. And I like to see what's happening, whether these things are preserved, because, it's a peculiarity of the classical music industry that, they're dealing with music which is supposedly eternal and, unchanging and undying and fabulously wonderful, and performances that are immortal and classics and that are, unique and one of a kind and permanent and wonderful, and they stay in print for 15 minutes. I mean, what is the point of that, right? I mean, we've been through this a billion times, but it never ceases to amaze me. And it used to be, at the major labels anyway, there was an entire department, and there may still be, called secondary exploitation. Secondary exploitation, in a short, meant reissues, taking the catalog and milking it, doing things with it, which, of course, obviously they're still doing with these boxes and all the stuff that's coming out. But, some people exploit more intelligently than others. They're more exploitatively nuanced. One of the best secondary exploitators is Cyrus Mayer-Holmji, who runs Universal Australia. He's responsible for all those fabulous Eloquence boxes and for the fact that he, for example, took the Mercury cubes and he's reissuing them by artist, which makes a lot of sense, really, especially if they're limited editions and you didn't get the big cubes. So you get all the Antal Doratis, or you get all the Byron Janices, or you get, it's just very, very intelligent in assembling these secondary exploitation projects. Sony and RCA have not been so smart. They are wonderful at doing the big boxes. Their big boxes are beautiful, especially, Sony's, the Zell and all that stuff. It was great. But when it comes to other artists like Munch and Reiner, I mean, you've got, for example, Reiner's little Strauss in a box. There's that. But Munch has not been exploited so well. And I think the reason is because he didn't do serieses. He didn't. I mean, Reiner, you get all of his Strauss. You can do certain things. But there is, for example, no complete Munch Beethoven cycle, no complete Brahms cycle. There isn't for Reiner either. That makes secondary exploitation more complicated. Why? Because you have to use your brain. You have to try and assemble things and come up with, reasons to do sub-boxes or to group repertoire in certain ways instead of just having the mega box. So we had the Munch box, the big Munch box. It came out and disappeared in short order, and it hasn't been seen since, which I think is ridiculous. It ought to be reissued. It ought to stay in print forever, of course. But they did have these things, these romantic masterpiece boxes. And like I said, there are two of them. Now, the late romantic masterpieces, I just looked on Amazon, is still around. And it cost like $86 last time I checked for 7 CDs. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, I don't understand who'd want it, but you can get it. You can get it if you really want to pay. If you want to pay through the nose. I don't advise it. But, I mean, the performances are wonderful, I know, and it's Munch and it's great. But, these days there's so much stuff, and to spend that kind of money, I don't see it. So, I mean, if you can stream it, yeah. Anyway, so that's still about. But the first one, Romantic Masterworks, is not. And so what the hell is the point? I mean, if one's available, they should both be available. I mean, do you think that this was less popular than this one? I can't imagine. I mean, I just think it's a question of stock. I mean, if they have stock, they'll keep it around till they sell out the stock, then it goes out of print. There's no logic to it. I mean, it's certainly not related to like sales or anything as, meaningful as that. So what was in Romantic Masterworks? Let me just tell you. You got Mendelssohn, Symphony 3, the violin concerto with high fits, and the Capriccio Brilliant in B minor with Gary Graffman. I mean, what a great disc. Oh, God. And then Mendelssohn 4 and 5 and the Octet Scherzo. These Mendelssohn performances are just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Brahms' first tragic overture, Brahms 2 and 4. There is no 3. And again, they're excellent performances. And, the Brahms 4 is really good. Oh, boy, it's a good one. Schubert, Symphony No. 2, Brahms Piano Concerto No. 1, again with Gary Graffman. A real smoker of a performance. It's thrilling. And anything Gary Graffman did is like smart and wonderful. So there you go. Then we've got Schubert 8 and 9. That's one of the reference recordings. I mean, it really is. The Schubert 9, the great. Oh, my goodness. That is insane. It still has the best scherzo anyone ever did. It's really one in a bar. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes! It doesn't make you want to pass out from boredom. And let's see, Schumann 1 and Manfred, then Schumann Genevieve Overture, and Brahms 2 with Arthur Rubinstein. Now, this is the echo. I know it's echoey. Who would not want this? What sane human being would not want to have this in their collection? Why isn't it available? I mean, you do, Munch does French music. Munch does that. Munch jumps up and down. Munch, you can figure out ways to do it. You really could. But they haven't, so this is ripe for reissue, and I look forward to reporting to you from the Overflow room as it gradually begins to overflow. Of course, the big question is going to be, is there enough space for all the crap I want to put down here? I think there is. I did a lot of measuring, but ultimately, I told the contractors, just build shelves. Just keep building shelves until you can't build any more shelves. And we'll have to see. This is a larger space than the old Overflow room in terms of the amount of wall I was able to cover with shelves, because this is mine, whereas, the old Overflow room belonged to my folks, and there was a limit to how much I could impinge upon the sanctity of their, domestic design aesthetic. So, we'll see what happens. We'll be doing this together as the Overflow room gradually fills up, and I can report from here and there and all around the place. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.